Sadly, there's really nothing new about the Subaru BRZ. It's basically the same as when it debuted about 6 or so years ago, but still they offered me one for review and I was like, well, why not? This thing has always been an absolute riot to drive, and the new TS model, if you can believe it, is even more fun. The BRZ may feature the same 2-liter boxer engine, the same compact body, and even the same scalpel-sharp dynamics it always has, but this variant here is a little different. You see, it's been tuned by the speed freaks at STI, the automaker's in-house racing division, and they've honed it to an even finer edge. The coil springs have been changed. It also features Sachs dampers and a larger rear stabilizer bar. Brembo brake rotors have been added, while the chassis and subframes are stiffer. There's new bracing in the engine compartment as well, and the car even features a series of underbody spoilers for enhanced aerodynamics. Engineers made numerous refinements to this machine, many of which are kinda hard to show on video, though fortunately some of their hard work is much more obvious, like these standard 18-inch wheels, a first for the BRZ. There's also a unique rear bumper, red accents around the grille, and even a TS-exclusive adjustable carbon fiber spoiler. In fact, you may need a pilot's license to drive this car because it's got more wing than some regional jets. And the subtle enhancements continue inside, where you are treated to the same basic BRZ cabin you've come to know and love, with a few enhancements sprinkled throughout. Like the seats, for instance, are now trimmed in grippy Alcantara fabric and feature some handsome contrast stitching. The safety restraints are also rendered in red, a racy hue that's found its way under the steering wheel and door panels. There's an upscale frameless rearview mirror and Subaru's Starlink infotainment system with navigation. For maximum versatility, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are also integrated, so there's no excuse for getting lost, unless of course you insist on using the Rand McNally app. And I'm making air quotes right now. This car has just 205 horsepower, which means it isn't particularly fast, but it doesn't need to be because the BRZ TS is still a riot to drive, even if it can't break the ass end loose at highway speed. Taking off from a standstill, this thing feels legitimately quick, but whether you're at quarter throttle or wide open, it doesn't seem to accelerate any faster, since there's just 156 pound-feet of torque available at a stratospheric 6,400 RPM, just 1,000 short of redline. But keep that Boxer 4 on the boil and you can still make hay, because the TS here is a razor-sharp driver's car with steering that is just, it's like a sixth sense. So sharp, so light, so tossable. Naturally, the ride is very firm and you feel every defect in the road, though it is nowhere near as hammering or jolting as I expected it to be based on this car's exterior styling, which is a good thing because it's still quite livable. So is the standard Torsen limited slip differential and the stability and traction control systems that offer 4 different settings, including a dedicated track mode. Even though the BRZ TS drives like a proper sports car, there's still room for improvement. For instance, the shifter is atrocious, the throws are long, gates vague, and effort far too high. It's more like a dowel rod jammed into a bucket of gravel than any sort of precision instrument. And like other Subarus I've driven, I have had a devil of a time trying to figure out how to drive this car smoothly. It's literally taken me 3 or 4 days to get the hang of it. It's a very tricky vehicle to be slick in. There's something strange with the interplay between the clutch pedal and the powertrain. You've either got to shift really quickly or wait like 5 seconds between gear changes. There's no in between. The TS is also quite loud inside, particularly at highway speed, though the blame may lay at Michelin's feet rather than Subaru's, since the race-ready Pilot Sport 4 tires are very aggressive. Likewise, the BRZ TS's pricing might be a little severe as well. As it sits, this one goes for $34,355, including $860 in delivery fees. And for that much money, you could get a, Nissan 370Z Coupe, or almost a Mustang GT or Camaro SS, all of which are going to offer you far more speed, if not quite the same driving finesse. Anyway, just to recap, here is what I like about this little Subaru, and not so much. In a heartbeat, I'd keep the precision steering, rambunctious dynamics, sporty design, and its exclusivity. Now, what I could do without is the paucity of torque, dreadful shifter, and elevated interior noise. Subaru's BRZ is a vehicle that is aging gracefully. I mean, this thing is more fun than sprinkling broken glass on a public beach. But should you get a TS model? Well, yes, if you want an engaging and dynamic sports car, but no, because, well, you probably can't. And that's because production is limited to just 500 units, all for model year 2018, which means that by the time you're watching this video, the car is likely already sold out. Hey there! Before you leave, please subscribe to the AutoGuide.com YouTube channel. It is your all-access pass to some of the greatest videos on the interweb. You can get more episodes of Curbed. You can check out the short list. There's auto show news, other list stories, and a whole lot more. That's a whole lot of bang for your clickin' buck.